Hello, everyone. We are Team 2 from Engineering Project Management uh, coursework. So we are doing our project on grid connected solar farm for clean energy generation. I'm Sai Ashok. I'll be getting into the details of the project. So our main objective for this project is to deliver a 5 megawatt solar energy generation facility to power 1,000 homes in US. So we have divided our project into three main phases. The phase one would be the planning and permitting phase. The phase two would be procurement and construction phase, and the phase three would be commissioning phase. Each phase has its key objectives described in this slide. And if you're following these key objectives for every phase, we would complete the project in a very smooth way. The next slide would be the project organization. This chart shows our project structure. The top, the leadership oversees three main divisions: planning and permitting, procurement, construction, commissioning, and operations. Planning covers site and regulatory work. Procurement manages logistic and engineering, and commissioning handles testing, grid integration, and monitoring. Supporting teams in HR, finance, legal, marketing ensures smooth end-to-end execution. Uh, if you are following this thing, we'll have a very clean project delivery. So the next is the implementation phase.
So the implementation plan is broadly classified into four types, so which is like a network diagram, work breakdown structure, responsibility chart, and scheduling. The scheduling is split into two things, which is Gantt chart and the PERT chart. First, when we go to the WBS, which is the work breakdown structure. So this document provides a hierarchical decomposition of the entire project. It organizes all the work into different tasks, and each task about what duration does it takes. So the next would be the responsibility chart, which is also known as RACA chart. So this matrix maps every task to a specific role, defining who is responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. So this ensures clear ownership and effective coordination. So the next would be the network diagram, so which is our project's flow chart. It maps all the sequence from the start to finish, showing which activities must be completed before others can begin. The next would be the Gantt chart, where the Gantt chart provides the project schedule. It visually represents the timeline for every task, starting from September 1 uh, through the completion of a project. So here you can see the duration and the sequence of activities across all three project phases. Finally, we have the PERT analysis, where this tool helps us to calculate a more realistic project timeline by using three estimators, which is optimistic, most likely, and pessimistic. Uh, Based on this, we have determined the project critical path, the longer sequence of the task, which is about 289 days. The next would be the risk analysis.
On this slide, we are looking at a project risk analysis, which we approach from both a qualitative and quantitative perspective. On the quantitative side, we use the failure mode and effect analysis method, where we calculate the risk priority number as a product of severity, occurrence, and detection scores. This helps us prioritize risks based on how serious they are and how likely they are to happen and how easy they are to detect before causing issues. For example, on the right side of the slide, we look at delay in payments, grid connection delays, and cost overruns. We realize that they emerge as the highest risk priority number, making them top priorities for mitigation. On the left side of the slide, we develop a risk matrix to categorize risks by their probability and impact. This helps us to decide whether to avoid, control, mitigate, or simply monitor these qualitative risks. For example, weather interruptions might have a medium probability but high impact, so they fall into the mitigation category, while some site issues post-selection may also need monitoring. The combination of these two approaches gives us both a numerical ranking for prioritization and a visual strategic framework for deciding our responses. The goal is to ensure risks are not only identified but also addressed appropriately so that they don't jeopardize our scope, schedule, or cost targets. Next is monitoring and control.
So this slide shows how we plan to monitor and control the project. So there are 5 key performance areas: the scope, schedule, cost, quality, and risk. So for scope, we'll track the site selection criteria and the permitting progress and the PPA compliance. On the control, we'll act by approving or rejecting the scope changes. And for the schedule, we'll monitor the task progress, milestone achievement, and the schedule variance. And if delay occurs, we'll act by reallocating the resources and resequencing the tasks. On the cost side, we track the actual cost variance and the performance index. For quality, we track rework defects, staff tracking, and the QA checks. And for the risk, we'll monitor the RPN values, new risks are identified, and the mitigation status. So there's also a process flow. First, we track the performance, analyze the variance, take corrective actions, and verify it. And we try this again, so it's a continuous loop. And the key outputs will be the KPI dashboard, monthly earned value analysis, quality inspection records for all the testing, and the biweekly risk register updates.
The project has a total budget of 6.45 million distributed across 3 phases. Approximately 500,000 is dedicated to planning and permitting, 4 million to recruitment and construction, 1.2 million to commissioning, and around 750 is reserved for contingency. On the revenue side, the solar farm's 5 megawatt capacity, operating on an average of 4.5 full load hour per day, will generate 8.2 gigawatt hours annually at a tariff of 0.06 kilowatt hour. This translates into a 493,000 annual revenue. After accounting for approximately 70,000 in operation and maintenance, the net annual cash flow comes for 123,000. From a financial perspective, the project delivers a 31% ROI, a 15-year payback period with a 7% discount rate and an IRR of 5.1%. The financial outlook looks strong in the long term. For the resource allocation, most of the capital investment, about 4.4 million, is concentrated in recruitment and construction. Planning and permitting require about 500,000, commissioning around 1.2 million, while the remaining 750 set aside contingency. Looking at categories, materials account for the largest of 2.4 million, about 37% covering panels, inverters, cabling. Human resources make up 36%, which includes engineers, project managers, and installation laborers. The balance covers equipment, professional services, and risk services. The allocation reflects deliberate focus on the project for infrastructure, quality, labor efficiency, and financial risk. In conclusion, the solar farm will generate 8.2 gigawatt hours annually, supplying power for more than 1,000 homes and offsetting nearly 5,000 tons of CO2, making the grid more digitalized. It will have 10 months of timeline.